In today's video, I'm covering off everything you need to know about adding a microphone to your DJ set. First and foremost, we're going to cover off pricing and the features that you need to look for when buying a microphone. We're then going to go into some of the uses of a microphone within a DJ set, and then finally some tips on how to improve your confidence. Now, if you're sat there thinking, hold on a minute, why is he talking about speaking on the microphone? I'm there to play music. Well, it just depends on the type of DJ you want to be. If you are looking at getting into mobile DJing, so weddings, birthday parties, or commercial high street venue DJing like what I do, then here in the United Kingdom especially, talking on the microphone is a must, and most venues on the high street especially will not employ you unless you bring some kind of microphone skill to the party. There are a few venues out there, of course, that don't expect you to talk on the mic, but the majority will. If you want to go down a more specialist route and, I don't know, play techno in an underground venue, for example, then speaking on the microphone may not be so important to you. Okay, so first and foremost, pricing. Now, when it comes to microphones, they vary quite significantly in price. Some are cheap, obviously some are more expensive. I would say as a ballpark figure here in the United Kingdom, a decent microphone will start in the region of £50 and go up to about £150. I would say stay away from really cheap microphones because they will break the moment you drop it, and trust me, you will drop it. I've dropped my microphone so many times, and also they'll make weird rattling noises every time you pick it up, which will be picked up and obviously come out of the speakers. So avoid really cheap mics and get the best that you can afford. Now, if you're in the market for a wireless or radio mic system, these start at around £250 for a decent one. Obviously, there are cheaper ones available, and they go up to about £450. That is just here in the United Kingdom. Couple of things with radio mics. You probably won't need one if you're not venturing out from the DJ booth too much and if it's for personal use. The only time really when you want to consider buying a wireless system is if you're offering karaoke as a service, so you need to hand out a microphone to singers, and also as well if you're mobile DJing and planning to give microphones out for speeches and that kind of thing, or if you, I don't know, like wandering around the venue. But for the majority of DJs that are just speaking at the DJ booth, one with a wire is absolutely fine. So in terms of some of the key features that you're going to need, the first is that you're going to need a dynamic microphone. These are a little bit more rugged in terms of the way they are built. Essentially inside there is a coil of wire, and that is attached to the diaphragm. This results in less impedance, and without going too technical, basically this means that you will get more noise out of your mic with less risk of interference. So dynamic microphone is an absolute must. The next thing to consider is the pickup pattern on the microphone. So essentially, where is it picking sound up from? I'll show you what I mean with one of my technical diagrams. Okay, so here we go with my diagrams. Really technical, really scientific. Here we've got what is known as an omnidirectional microphone, and here we have what is known as a cardioid microphone. This circle here represents the pickup pattern of both mics. Now, what an omnidirectional microphone will do is pick up the sound from all around it. So it'll pick up your voice if you're speaking into it, but it will also pick up the sound behind the microphone as well. Not the best for DJing because it will pick up some of the noise from the crowd, the sound system, and there is a bit of a risk of getting some feedback. So probably not the best. So what you want to look for really in an ideal scenario, especially for vocals, is what is known as a cardioid microphone. Now you can see here the pickup pattern is a lot more heart-shaped, it's a lot more narrow round the back, much better for vocals. So when you're talking into the microphone, you're minimizing any kind of interference, any kind of extra noise coming in from the crowd or from the sides of the venue. Now let's talk about some of the uses of a microphone. Now as a DJ, don't get me wrong, you are not a talk show host. You are not expected to talk all night long. Usually when it comes to talking on the mic, it comes in short, sharp bursts, and that is it. If you're DJing at weddings, birthday parties, private hires, that kind of thing, you might be expected to actually hand your microphone over to a guest or a member of the crowd in order for them to do some kind of speech or some kind of announcement, something like that. It will be expected of you to do key announcements such as cutting a cake, getting everyone ready to sing happy birthday, or announcing a couple onto the dance floor for their first dance. And if you're at a wedding, maybe, you know, having a bit of general banter with the crowd because they want that personal touch. In a nightclub, if the venue requires you to talk on the mic, then expect to do things like shout outs, you know, getting the crowd a bit hyped up, shouting hands in the air down the microphone a couple of times before a big drop. Also as well, if the club's got VIP booths, then someone might be celebrating a birthday, so you need to wish them a happy birthday. And the other thing as well is that people might want dedicated songs specific to them if the club permits it. Those are general uses, but don't expect to do any kind of speeches. Finally, let's talk about building your confidence on the microphone. Now, when I started DJing all those years ago, it was the one thing that made me the most scared. I absolutely hated the thought of picking up a microphone and talking to people. And I know a lot of DJs feel exactly the same. In order to get over this, unfortunately, you just kind of have to do it. And just remember that, number one, most people will not care what you are saying. They do not listen to the DJ. If you're DJing in front of 1,000 people, most people don't care. I know this because whenever I do a birthday shout out, for example, half the time the group will come back over to me and ask for the shout out again. And when I tell them that I've already done it, they're like, oh, right, well, we didn't hear it. So half the time people are not listening to you. So do not worry too much. And number two, the other thing is, as I mentioned, you're only talking in very short, sharp bursts. If you're saying to someone, get your hands in the air, it's 4 words. We're talking about 2 seconds of your life and then it's done. And the thing is, the more you do it, the more your confidence will improve. So how I'd recommend starting is just do the birthday shout outs. You know, you've got that perhaps written down, you know the name, you know the age, happy birthday to the name, age, and done. And then once you get confident in saying those kind of 5-6 words a few times in the night, then you might be able to add in a bit of hands in the air, those kind of things to get the crowd all hyped up before a drop. And then once your confidence gets to that level, then you'll find that you can probably do a little bit more. So welcoming them along to the night, the fact that we're going till like 3 or 4 in the morning, this is the music I'm gonna play. It doesn't have to be a speech, but build it up slowly and do sort of one-liners and shorter bits of speech before you go into talking a little bit more. That is what I would say. And with everything, it just comes with time. It comes with experience. But you are going to have to throw yourself into the deep end a little bit to begin with. It comes over time. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one.